Hello. If you're watching this, that means that you've actually done the other two homework tasks that I asked you to do in the email. You've sorted out your NHS app and got the vaccination status or COVID status sorted out, and you've ordered the t-shirt sizes. So thank you very much for that. Now, I just want to have a quick chit chat, really, just to kind of give you a little bit of information prior to a further Teams meeting down the line about the actual trip, just to try and let you know some of the things that we're going to be looking at. So, first of all, we're going to be leaving on the Friday morning around about 3:30 a.m. 3:30 a.m. I'll give you details closer to the time. It's a crazy early start, but we're going to make our way down and we will stop. Last time we stopped at South Mim Services, where just about everybody went to McDonald's, and then we carry on our journey and we arrive in Calais. Now, the actual PGL centre we're staying at, as you can see on the slide, is around about 20 miles from Paris. It's about 4.5 hours from actually Calais. So we stop again on the way down to Calais, and again, everybody gets off the coach and goes to McDonald's. The accommodation is rooms of 4 to 7. Now, we've set up rooms at the moment in groups of 4. I know that there's some people, new people coming on, have been questioning about, I want to change my room, etc., etc. Can we leave that, please, until we actually get to the centre, because we've got so many other things going on that the actual room. As I said at the time, the rooms of 4 weren't 100% guarantee. That we don't know until we get the final information from PGL, which we're still waiting for. That comes closer to the actual time. Okay. Regarding the accommodation, all rooms are lockable with a key card, of which, as group leader, we'll have access to a master key. So please don't worry about that. Okay. The actual centre itself has about 7 acres actually of land that is enclosed and secure. And when we're on centre, the students have got freedom to roam about that. But there was also going to be organised evening activities last time, sorry, I've just wiped 2 years of COVID from my mind. Last time we did this, we had cricket matches, rounders matches, they did crepe making, there was a French evening with snails. We did get access to the pool for a 1-hour session, and we expect that to potentially happen again. I can't see all students in the pool at the same time because there's so many going this time. This trip is normally run for groups of around 70, and as you're aware, because of the demand, I did go a little bit mental and push it up to 110. So we'll see how that works out there. But there's plenty to do on the actual site, and it's nice, safe, and secure. There'll be us and potentially 1 or 2 other school parties, but that's all that will be on site. Talking of on site, what I really recommend is that you ensure you've got some insect repellent. That's one of our learning takeaways from last time we did this. It is large fielded areas, and there was a lot of flies that were having a good old nibble on us. So please make sure you've got some insect repellent to go with you. And sun cream. It was hard at times because the sun's beating down, and despite us speaking to several students about the appropriateness of the clothing items they were wearing, and making sure they had plenty of sun cream on, we did have 2 or 3 students who became burnt. Okay, so it really is important that shoulders and things are covered when we're out and about in the daytime, because it is relentless, and we are out on the boats, we are out at Disney World. You've got to really make sure that your child is taking care of themselves with how they dress, but also in making sure they apply plenty of sun cream. So the days are going to be that we get there on the evening, we do an activity in the evening, we have a meal, and we sort out roomings, things like that. Then the next day we go into Paris, and Paris is about half an hour away, something like that. It's not a long journey, and we pop into Paris. We'll go on the boats, go to do some sightseeing up and down the River Seine, and then we went up the Eiffel Tower, and we go up the stairs okay, to the second floor. The first floor's got a glass walkway that's a struggle for somebody like me who's scared of heights, but it's there, you know. And after that, we get back on the buses and we drive up to Montmartre, to the Artist District, and the students get a chance to roam around there and have a look at what's going on and to buy some tat from the souvenir shops. Come back, activities again at the centre, and then evening meals, sort ourselves out. The next day, the Sunday, we're up, breakfast in, packing a packed lunch, and then we're heading off to Disneyland, where we spend the day. Now, due to the coaches, we don't get to stay all the way through to the parade, but the benefit of that is why people are queuing up to go and watch the parade. We've got almost free reign on the rock and roll roller coaster and all of that over at MGM. And then we come back from Disney, and again, there'll be some sort of evening activities. We're actually trying to get the pool sorted for that night, so we'll be a bit more chillaxed. But we are down to the actual PGL. And then on the Monday, we get up, make our breakfast, have our breakfasts, and then it's onto the bus. We drive about 10, 15 minutes around the corner, and we stop at a large hypermarket complex where there's a sports shop, there's a Carrefour, there's some other little boutique shops inside the actual complex where the students will get an opportunity to buy all their French bits and bobs before we continue the journey home. Okay, and it's about 4.5 hours then to Calais with a stop on the way, and then we cross, and then we've got about 4.5, 5 hours journey back, depending on traffic, to school. School then we hope to arrive around about 8, 9 at night, but we'll give you an update on that closer to the time. Okay. All menus will be catered for. There is plenty of choice. We actually felt the food was really pretty good last time. So they get up, there's a choice of breakfast items. They can select from what you'd expect, continental as well as some cooked items and meats. And then in the evening, there's more than one choice of mains as well as vegetarian halal options, which they'll be able to choose from. Now, for lunches, what we do is we queue up on the way into breakfast, and they will pick up a baguette, fill it with a variety of sandwich fillings, perhaps pick up a madeleine and some water, and that will form their lunch. Okay. Now, what I have factored into the trip is that I will be hopefully having at least €10 to be able to supply the students with before we go to Disney, which is that they get their packed lunch, but they may want to have something there, and it's just a way of ensuring they've got some cash on them. All risk assessments, first aids, all that sort of stuff will be put into place. The insurance cover is provided by PGL, and it's quite comprehensive. You can see that on the information list that will be included in the email that you've received, as well as a kit list. So there is some further information that is on that email for you to have a look at, but that's kind of just a rough guide as to what's going to actually happen when we go. Last time it was a great trip. It really was. And the centre we go into is really, really open and free, and they'll be able just to hang out and have a good time, as well as having some fun with organised activities. So you will start to hear from me via email a bit more frequently as we get closer and closer with little jobs that you need to do, including the ones that I've asked you to do on this email. And then there will be a Teams meeting 2 weeks to 10 days before we go, just to go over any final questions, comments, queries, or concerns. So that's it. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time since we've managed to do a trip. So fingers crossed, nothing happens between now and then, which is looking good. Quickly then on things like vaccinations. You've completed that form on vaccinations. If you've not double vaccinated, you see there's 2 options. It's a PCR test 72 hours before, or you can download your recovery pass from the NHS. So hopefully you've sorted out all that as well. On the actual trip, each student will be allocated a member of staff. So there'll be 12 students allocated to each member of staff, and they will be there on the evening to check you've got the correct COVID documentation, passport, before we get you on the coach and set on our way. So we'll make sure we've got all that sorted out before we go. On the member of staff and the 12, can I please put a plea in now? One of the biggest issues we do tend to get is students will be told to meet with the member of staff at Disney 2 or 3 times during the day, to meet at Montmartre at least once during that visit, and to check in on the Eiffel Tower. And this is for their safety and to ensure that we know where everyone is at all times. It is therefore vital that they meet those members of staff at the allocated time. It causes a huge issue if they don't, especially at Disneyland, where we have to hold up every other student and wait while we search the park for them. So if they're due to meet a member of staff, but they're in a queue for a ride, leave the queue. If they know they're meeting a member of staff in half an hour and it looks like the queue's going to take at least that time, go meet the member of staff early, get yourself back into the queue. It's as simple as that. Can you please stress that? Because it will result in students having to perhaps sit out and miss activities, either because they've been late or waiting for those that are late. Okay, brilliant. All right, speak to you soon.